कर रहे हैं उसको
हमारे
ज्यादातर
साथ जुड़ने के लिए और हमें लखनऊ की जो ग्राउंड रिपोर्ट है वो दिखाने के लिए. इनफैक्ट let's go across and look at some of those features, some of those reports that have come to the fore regarding Priyagold Butter Delite biscuits and what actually and why it's not safe for consumption. So, what is the FSSAI report saying? The laboratory report number JK 665 December 25 786 dated December 5 2025 from the National Food Laboratory in Ghaziabad has provided key findings on the sample of Priyagold Butter Delite biscuits. So, this is the file number, this is the finding number that has actually come up with those findings regarding that particular batch of Priyagold Butter Delite biscuits. So, what does this report say? It says that the product is unsafe for human consumption. So, this is the main crux here. It's unsafe for human consumptions due to sulphite levels which are exceeding the maximum permissible limits as prescribed under the Food Safety and Standards Act of 2006. So, these are unsafe for consumption. Human beings cannot consume it as the levels of sulphite in it are way beyond the permissible limits. In fact, when we are talking about this report, it comes at a time about for a very particular batch of Priyagold Butter Delite biscuits that had been picked up from a local store. And joining us on the broadcast is Dr. Zabir Ahmed, CSIR IIM Jammu Director. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Doctor, when we are looking at this entire issue, the levels of sulphite, sir, are way beyond the permissible limits, and we are looking at a brand like Priyagold, a biscuit like Butter Delite, which is consumed almost by every household in the country, sir, and these findings are very shocking. Dr. Ahmed, if you can hear me.
Yeah, I am here.
Yes, sir. So, I was talking to you about how shocking these findings are, sir. All right. So, I believe when we are talking about this entire issue, you have to remember that the report of says that there have been findings that the levels of sulphite are way beyond the permissible limits and it is unsafe for human consumption. Let me go across to Dr. Ahmed, who is live with us on this broadcast. Doctor, how do you look at these shocking findings with a brand that is a household name, with biscuits that everyone consumes on a daily on a daily level, and these biscuits are something that is present in every household, sir?
So basically, like you mentioned, the quality is very important, whether we use food items or we use medicines, and particularly in case of the Priyagold biscuits, the level of sulphite is more than the prescribed limit, whatever limit has been fixed by the regulatory authorities. So normally if we talk about the quantity of sulphite in the biscuits and the other items, it is beneficial when it will be present in the required quantity. So as far as the quantity of sulphite in biscuits and other food items is concerned, it should be less than 0.1%, and whatever reports we found in case of the biscuits which were banned in Anantnag district, so the level is more than the prescribed limit, and this is very serious. When the quality of the sulphite in the items is within the limits, so that is beneficial because it is used for preservative, for biofortifications of certain minerals is concerned. So this limit is required, but when the prescribed limit is not there, so it is very toxic in the body. When the user will take these biscuits, so they may experience certain kinds of health conditions like respiratory disorders will be there, irritation, allergy will be there, and this is very critical.
Absolutely, doctor. I'd request you to please stay on with us. In fact, let me also introduce our viewers. Now that the report is out, let me tell you all what you need to know about sulphite. As doctor was pointing out, what actually is sulphite, why it's actually allowed in certain permissible limits, and how it can be very harmful if you actually have it in more doses. So, what are sulphites? The sulphites are inorganic salts containing the sulphite ion, including compounds like sulfur dioxide, sodium sulphite, sodium bisulphite, and potassium metabisulphite. So, this is inorganic salts that are containing these various sulphite ions. Now, they occur naturally in some foods like during fermentation in wine and are added as preservatives. So, remember, this is the crux, that they are added as preservatives for packed foods, and they also occur naturally in foods like which are fermented. Sulphites are used widely in the food industry as a versatile preservative that inhibits the growth of bacteria, yeasts and molds, thereby extending the shelf life of products. As biscuits need a longer shelf life, you do not know how long they will sit on that shelf. Preservatives are especially used to make sure that bacteria and other organisms don't grow in that. Now, for bakery products like biscuits, the permissible limit for sulphites is typically up to 100 ppm under the FSSAI standards in India. So, what is the permissible limit? It is typically up to 100 ppm for products like biscuits. Now, excessive sulphites primarily affect sulphite sensitive individuals, a group that includes about 1 in 100 people in the general population, with the prevalence rising significantly to 5 to 10% among those with asthma. So, those people who have asthma are more prone to having, they will be sulphite sensitive, and this issue can actually, higher levels of sulphite can affect them. Now, common symptoms, what are the side effects? In sensitive persons include asthma attacks, wheezing and breathing difficulties, skin reactions such as hives, itching and rashes. So, you will have breathing difficulties, you will have rashes. These are some of the side effects of what a high level of sulphite can do for people who are sensitive to this entire substance. Now, if I can go across back to Dr. Ahmed. Dr. Ahmed, when we are looking at this case from Anantnag, it was a very particular batch, sir, that had been picked up from a local store, and then it was sent for testing. Obviously, all the particular biscuits of that batch have been put off the shelves. People have been told to recall that and not consume biscuits of that particular batch. But sir, when we look at such a big brand, we see so many other batches. How will we know what is safe to eat and what is not?
So basically, whatever we eat, the quality is the prime concern. So like you mentioned about this particular batch, what I could guess and understand. So the verification and the testing of that whole batch should be there, and there should be a trail of the activities when this batch has been manufactured, the transportation, the shelf life, everything need to be investigated. So what I could understand, like batch to batch verification should be done, and prime concern is the particular batch should be verified. And if the variation with respect to sulphide content is in a specific batch, that can be just look into what was the critical problem in quality testing and quality assurance, because whenever the manufacturing of such items, such food items, particularly the biscuits, will be done, so the regulation is there, certification of the companies and the plants is there. So ultimately, they must be following the regulatory guidelines as far as quality control is concerned. But for this particular batch, the total verification and investigation is warranted.
Absolutely, sir. In fact, when we are talking about food testing in India is primarily